I got a special message this week to people who are just beginning their careers as coaches, as scrum masters, and especially for those who see themselves as budding leaders. You need to outgrow your permission and employee thinking. That's this week on the Badass Agile podcast. Greetings, team. Welcome to the Badass Agile podcast. I'm your host, Chris Williams. Hello, friend. Welcome back. I'm so grateful to have you here. Thank you for being a listener. It's wonderful to see you. This week, I want to talk about blowing past the thinking that slows you down as an emerging leader or agile professional. But first, let's take a moment to remember why we're here. To create an elite tribe of leaders who truly serve their clients and communities by doing what matters and what works, relentlessly chasing value and excellence like a badass. There are so many resources out there about what you need to do to be agile, but we focus on who you need to become in order to lead teams. So let's hammer down those fundamentals to create a truly unique and powerful force in this industry. And if this helps you, just tell your friends, but you can also join us in the Facebook Badass Agile Listener Lounge and on Clubhouse in the Badass Agile Club. Okay, let's talk about permission and employee-based thinking. Now, there's nothing wrong with being an employee, but what I find is a little bit poisonous is the sense that as an employee, you can only grow or stretch so far, that you need special permission to expand. You need special permission to have certain ideas. You need to have special permission to say certain things. I hear this a lot as I'm increasing the number of conversations, real conversations that I have with all of you out there in the field. I hear people saying things like, well, this is how many weeks of vacation I'm allowed to take. These are the conversations I'm allowed to have. These are the people that I'm allowed to speak to. And this is the way that you should say things when you're interacting with certain people. All of those rules are implicit in joining an organization as an employee as if there's some contract about how expansive you can be as a human being. Now, I got no problem with someone choosing to be an employee of a company rather than a contractor, entrepreneur, or business owner. That's a very personal choice, and it's not for me to make. And I have no judgment about which one is right for you. But whatever you choose, if you don't have a sense of what Daniel Pink calls autonomy, purpose, and mastery, meaning you're trusted to do your job the way you think it needs to be done. You're free to make the decisions that you need to make. You're also free to grow, to master, to get as big as you want, to chase excellence and perfection in any direction you choose, and also to do work that is meaningful or purposeful to you as a human being. If you don't have those things, you're not going to enjoy your job very much. Even as an entrepreneur, you always have clients, but you can't let their version of the universe dictate yours. And that is also true in the employee-employer relationship. I like creating explosive people. My personal vision and mission statement ends with the words, to create heroes. I want to see people stretch beyond the usual. I want to see people stretch beyond the expected, which means all of those bets about who you're allowed to become, who you're allowed to talk to, what you're allowed to say, all those bets are off. As a badass leader, you don't let other people define you. And I hear this a lot. I hear people say, whoa. I got a job to maintain here. I can't get my ass fired. I can't just say whatever I want to whomever I want, whenever I want. That's a belief that has been installed upon you. Recognize that belief came from the education system. That belief might come from the employee manual. That belief may come from your parents, from your peers, from the people around you who are not looking to be explosive. That belief may even come from people who cling to control, specifically by controlling other people and how far they can spread their wings. You may not think that's a thing. It might even sound like a conspiracy theory, but look more closely and you'll see. The only person interested in your expansion, in your growth, in you becoming everything you can possibly become is you and the people who care most about you. The minute you hear the word can't coming out of anybody's mouth, with regards to your behavior, your thinking, and your ascension, you need to start questioning. You need to recognize where they're coming from, and you need to stop asking for their permission. Now, why is this important for leaders, for scrum masters, for agile coaches? Because if you let other people's doctrine, other people's expectation, and their rules limit what you do, you will never get your team to soar. You'll never be able to take them as high as they want to go. You'll never be able to do daring things. Look, you've been hired or contracted or engaged to fulfill the promise of agility, which is massive customer value early and often, extreme focus on the customer and their outcomes, finding and breaking through tradition to come up with new ways of working that are more powerful for the team, finding ways of enabling your fellow human beings to reach their maximum potential, finding ways to eliminate waste, finding ways to topple old, archaic, monolithic ways of working that slow the organization down. You're not going to be able to do any of those things if your prime focus is fidelity to the employee manual and the traditional hierarchy, command and control rules of engagement. Does this mean be rude, be brash, put your job in jeopardy, come off like an arrogant creep? No, of course not. Leadership still requires massive humility, delicate balance, kindness, positivity, agreeableness. But it does not mean kissing somebody else's butt just because of the title they sign off their emails with. Now, this one is the one that most people that I coach or train struggle with deeply, because we have that ingrained sense of if I screw up, if I say what I want to say to whomever I want to say it, if I ask for meetings with or assistance from people that are outside of my pay grade, I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to lose esteem. If you're not prepared to risk that, then how bold are you? And if you're not that bold, what exactly do you think you're going to get other than your once every 2-year pay increase, your once every 5-year promotion? That too is permission-based thinking. That's letting other people decide how much you're worth. That's letting other people decide how high you can fly. To me, that's not badass. And not only is that not serving yourself, but think about your team. How do you protect them from harm if you're taking your orders from somebody who's not your end customer, or from that supreme internal locus of control, that sense of self and who you want to become, the kind of leader that you want to be? How can you inspire your teams, much less your stakeholders and the people whose hearts you need to move, if you stand at the edge of courage, meeting your fear face to face, and you do nothing? You don't press forward. You retreat from the challenge. And by the way, how do you expect to learn and grow and exceed if all you do is what everyone else around you does automatically? Listen to the common wisdom. Obey the common sense rules. Follow the thoughts, ideas, and directions of other people. That's not what a leader does. The way is darkness. There's no certainty. It's all unknown. It's all unexpected. And the master skill that you have to develop is the ability to forge your way through that unknown, to be the light, to create the first path. Not to learn from the advice of others who won't go there, who can't go there, who choose not to go there, but through failure, injury, loss, sometimes embarrassment, just so you can get back up on your feet and say, now I know. I know because I endeavored. I know because I made it. I built it. And when we tested it, it didn't work. So we can move ahead now with certainty to try something that probably will. Isn't this what Agile teaches us anyway? It teaches us that the most important characteristic we have to own and adopt is that courage, the courage to fail, the willingness to learn not from convention, but from unconvention. So one of the biggest favors you can do for yourself this week, one of the biggest changes you can implement today, is to stop thinking like an average employee. Decide that the only person who tells you what you do is you. Decide that the future depends on your courage, on your independence, on your self-mastery and your sovereignty to become whoever you want, whatever you want, for the reason that is emotionally compelling to you. You will never find that in the employee guide. You will never find that in the actions and attitudes of others. You'll only find it when you look inside. That's it for this week, my friends. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope this helps you. As always, you can reach out at badassagile.com or find me on Twitter at badass_agile. I look forward to next time, and until then, stay badass.